Good afternoon, everyone. As usual, I'll be giving just a minute to allow you guys to come in before we start the business of the day. How has it been with each and every one of you? Those that working remotely, I hope it's been fun. And those on break, hope the break is moving on smoothly. And those caught up in traffic, hope the traffic is moving on smoothly as well. How is the weather treating each and every one of you down here in Philly? It's been kind of friendly this couple of days. The cold has gone down. I smell summer coming in, which is not possible to me. But the weather is kind of favorable and comfortable at the moment. Today is indeed a good day. Just sit tight and flow according to the tune of our presentation. We do have a lot for you guys. Of course, I can see a couple of familiar names on my attendees list. You guys are welcome. We always appreciate your presence. We always appreciate your contribution. And we always appreciate your questions and your feedbacks. Like I said, I will be giving just a minute. I can see we have quite numbers of people on my attendees list. Again, I will just take it off from here. Even as more people join us for the event. Good afternoon once again, and welcome for those of you guys that are joining us for the first time. My name is Gagba Esahaya, and I'm a training coordinator with the Temple Small Business Development Center. At the Temple Small Business Development Center helps small business start and grow. We offer free one-on-one consulting and a variety of low to no-cost webinars. We are proud to be part of the nationally accredited network of the Small Business Development Center, which has over 1,000 networks across the United States. We're here this afternoon for a webinar on Make Your Website Work For You. A copy of the PowerPoint and the link to the recording will be sent to all the attendees. Being a webinar, all the attendees have muted. However, we always encourage you guys to drop your questions on the Q&A or the chat box. Without further ado, as usual, please allow me to welcome my wonderful speakers, even as they take over the flow for the presentation. Vicky and Soleil, you guys are highly welcome.
Thank you so much, Garba. Thanks for having us. A shout out to the Temple SBDC team for partnering with Grow with Google for us to provide these amazing workshops to you. My name is Soleil Meade. I am going to be your presenter today for the Make Your Website Work For You presentation. So let me go ahead and go to my next slide and tell you a little bit more about myself and my coach assistant, Vicky Sepulveda. So again, my name is Soleil. I am the owner of Soleil Branding Essentials, which is a full service graphic web design and branding agency for small businesses, nonprofits, and visionaries like yourself. You all are in for a treat today because website development is my thing. So there are some questions that you can ask me that I might be able to even answer beyond what it is that we have set in the presentation. You can reach me at any of this information, which I know Vicky has already dropped in the chat. And Vicky is the Texas West, or the entire Texas, right, Vicky? The entire state of Texas, she is the Grow with Google digital coach. So she is here accompanying me today to ensure that you all have your questions answered, that you stay engaged, and we stay connected to you all. Vicky is also the owner of Crossing Bridges Consulting, and she helps small business owners like yourself help grow their business, especially with Google tools. So if you are looking to implement analytics or spruce up your Google business profile, anything of that nature, Vicky is absolutely amazing to help you with that. So I am going to go ahead and jump right into our information. Just want to let you know we have some upcoming workshops. One more this month, and which is Learn the Basics of Google Ads. And then we have two coming up next month with our amazing partners at Temple, Build Your Professional Brand and Make Better Decisions with Analytics. So make sure you sign up for those workshops. So let's go ahead and get started. Having a very strong web presence has been pivotal for small businesses, especially since we just came out of the pandemic. Almost everything moved online. Since the start of 2020, there has been 75% of US consumers that have tried new shopping behaviors. They're trying new ways because now we have things like shopping from our mobile app. We can shop and get connected to a business very quickly through text marketing. All of these things are leading us to where a company's website where they can buy products and engage in different ways with those businesses. So we are going to really get in today about the importance of a strong web presence and making sure that the website that you have is easy to navigate, that it is convenient and it works well for your potential customers, and that it is trustworthy and secure. That way it upholds the integrity that we want you to have for your business and how it shows up online. So let's go ahead and talk about what web design is. Vicki is about to drop a question in the chat, and today that's kind of how our flow will be. You will notice that we'll ask questions in the chat and ask you to maybe type 1 or 2 for yes or no. This is our way to engage with you all, to hear feedback about how you're processing the information. So one of the questions that we want to ask right now is, what CMS system do you use for your website, and what do you like most about it? A CMS system is a content management system. That would be something like Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, WordPress. Talk to us about what you use for your website building and what you like most about it. When we talk about website design, people often just think of the visual part of it. And there is literally so much more to website design and development that is necessary in order for you to show up in the best way. So it's beyond the look and the feel of your website. But let's take a minute and talk about the look and the feel. Let's talk about the common elements that we are used to seeing whenever we are looking or viewing a website. You look at that top section, that header, where you can usually access the menu so you can navigate through the site. And there's usually some type of catchy picture or video that really pulls you in. And then most of us are very familiar with that footer, which is that bottom section. You know that if you're looking for contact information, or important information about that site, you can usually find it at the bottom. So effective websites are going to have all of these features, but there are so much more that can go into it. I'm going to pull over to the chat for just a moment and see what type of content management systems you all are using. Somebody's using Google Sites. Yes, Jason, I love that. I love that you're utilizing Google Sites. It's an amazing CMS platform. We have people on Squarespace, GoDaddy, Shopify. Someone said Shopify is easy to upload products, but she needs help with the design part of it. So that is absolutely true about content management systems. As a web designer and developer myself, it's really important to understand your business and what the goals of your business is in order to choose the right platform or utilize your platform in the best ways. But I'm going to get into that a little more as we move on. So let's look at the agenda very quickly. So we are going to talk about all things a great website is. We're going to talk about the goals. We're going to talk about the importance of your website showing up on search. We're going to talk about how convenient it is. How is it easy for somebody to access on their tablet or if they are on their phone? We're going to talk about being organized and making sure that the content that is on your website is reflective of your brand and connected to actually reach your target audience. And then lastly, we're going to talk about ensuring that your site is trustworthy. I love to see all the comments in there. So I see people answering the question that Vicki dropped, if you have a website. So definitely, if you have a website, let us know, drop the link to it so we can check it out and subscribe to your email list. It's a great way for us to network because us small business owners need one another. So let me go ahead and jump into the first topic. We are going to talk about if your website or making sure your website is goal oriented. So you want to start by asking yourself, why do I want a website? And for many of you, you already have a website. So the question is then, why do I have a website? What are you trying to achieve with your website? And this is so important. for this workshop, as well as me as a developer, one of the things that I stress to my clients is how important functionality is. And functionality wraps back to having goals. How do you want your website to function or work for you? So these are some potential goals that you can have, but I want to know, let me know in the chat, do you have website goals? Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. And if you typed yes, share with us what some of your website goals are. So here's a couple that we see on the screen. So we have the goal to build a brand or to generate leads or to make sales, to engage with your customers, to attract employees. And people miss that a lot, especially us small business owners. You can easily add a form on your website to have an employee, a potential employee, fill out an application, and all of that's coming directly to you, and it's digital, and you can eliminate that paper trail that we're used to and stay modern. So let's see what some of you all are saying. We have a goal to build a brand and share your story. That's so important because the website is what you own. You know, when we post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, none of us own those particular platforms. You own your website. So that is the perfect place for you to tell your story exactly how you want to, without character limits, without limitations on how many seconds your video needs to be. This is your space. So it's really important that we utilize that space. Some people are saying providing information about their companies, engaging with customers, selling products, absolutely amazing foundational things that are helpful for us. So get vendors for our festival. So yes, absolutely, that is important. So if vendors is an important part, you want to make sure your website has forms on there so you can easily capture information from your vendors, get their logos for your marketing. Again, make your website work for you. So let me go ahead and go to the next slide. Let's talk about your audience. So now that you put your goals out there, it's very important to know who your audience is. You need to think about the people that are going to be using your website. How do they act? How do they think? Essentially, when you have your goals of engaging vendors, then that person who said they are looking for vendors for their festival, then your target audience is vendors. What are they doing on a day-to-day basis? What is their location, or where are you looking for vendors at? If you're in Pennsylvania, is it just Pennsylvania? What's their education level? What are hobbies that they do? What are sites? What social media sites? That's a very important one. When you think about the demographics of your target audience, you know, it might be vendors that are seasoned business owners, right? So a seasoned business owner, you may define that as 10 to 20 years, 20 plus years in business. So knowing that, there's probably an age bracket for that. So then you would drill down into that more to say, okay, well, seasoned business owners are probably mid 30s and up or so. So if that's the case, now you have this age range, and then you ask yourself, well, what social media platforms is this audience on? That audience is probably on Facebook more. So you want to make sure you have Facebook in there. I just kind of laid out for you all why knowing your audience is so important, because it really just pulls down into your marketing goals and your messaging and how you approach building your website and putting the right content on your website. So let's talk about SMART goals briefly. How many of you are familiar with SMART goals? Put an exclamation point in the chat if you are familiar with SMART goals. So if you are looking to set goals or adjust the goals that you have, the SMART goal method is really helpful, because what it is doing, it is putting us in a space to make sure that when we set a goal for a website, we're making sure it is specific and detailed. So we're not just saying, I just want to get more customers. A specific way of saying that is, I would like to grow my customer base to 150% over what we have generated in this past year. I want to have over 150% more email subscribers to my website. So be specific about your goal. How will you measure it? So what are the metrics that you are going to use to see that number of email subscribers go up? Most of our client management systems have analytics within there. So then you can use your analytics to or data and insights to actually look at that information and to measure how many more people signed up from, your last checkpoint. The A is for attainable. So if you are planning this website goal execution to happen in 3 months, is it attainable for you to grow 150% in 3 months? If it is, then absolutely go for it. If it's not, then be kind to yourself and set a goal that you can actually reach within the time frame that you need to. The R is for relevant. Is the goal relevant to your business? So a great example is if we're talking about getting more email subscribers and you haven't sent an email newsletter out in the last 6 months, then it might not be relevant to your business needs. So again, you want to make sure that it's going to help you to reach your business goals. And it is something that you either see advantageous to do for your business, or that that your clients want, and that's why you're implementing it. And lastly, it needs to be time bound. One of our biggest mistakes as small business owners is we can be extremely motivated and say, I'm going to do this, but then we don't really tighten up on ourselves and set a time frame of achieving and executing our goals and tasks. So set a time to achieve this goal, to measure it, and to see if it's working, and then you're off for it. So let's go ahead and talk about how you will measure success. And I talked about this a little bit more. I talked about this a little bit in the previous slide. I talked about tracking online sales. So the data and insights that are inside of your website might give you some help to measure your success. You also can collect form submissions. So if you have forms on your website, then you can count the number of submissions that come through in that time period that you set. If it's a phone number, whatever that call to action is, you want to make sure that you're able to monitor the phone calls. So Google Voice is a great way to do that. If you use Google Voice for your business, then this is one of the many things I love about Google Voice is you can log into Google Voice platform just like you log into Gmail. And when you do it that way, then you're able to see all the calls that came in and all the texts that came in. And then you can go ahead and count to see what came in from that month. And then you can just measure engagement. So say your website goal is to drive more traffic to your Instagram account. So in turn, you have your Instagram feed on your website. So you would measure the engagement because you already have your Instagram account set up as a professional account. You're going to be able to see, what clicks or views came from an outside source, meaning they came from your website. So that is how you would measure the success of your goal that you set. So another really great tool is analytics. I already mentioned it. Analytics is Google's product that measures data and insight, and it's absolutely free. We'll be hosting a workshop next month with Temple to go over analytics in a deeper dive. So really could be helpful to your website. If you have a website and you're not running analytics, or accessing some type of data and insights, then you're really not maximizing the effectiveness of your website. With analytics, it's going to let you know which search terms, like what people are searching for to find your website. It's going to let you know demographic information. So yes, you've already set a target audience, but as you review analytics, it's going to help you to define that audience even more. It's also going to help you to see what content your audience is interested in. You might notice that everyone goes to this particular page on your website that talks about your story. Somebody mentioned that was a goal. If you notice that 75% of your website visits are to your brand story page, then that goes to tell you that people are interested in hearing about your process, your journey, and your story. And the analytics will also help you to evaluate which channels drive the most conversions. Are they coming from Google? Are they coming from a social media stream? And things of that nature. So analytics is pivotal in helping you to truly take it to the next level, from not just saying I have a website, but I have a website that actually works for me. This is just a quick run through of how you would set up analytics, but I highly suggest that if it's something you're interested in, you could definitely get started now, but make sure you come to the workshop next month so you can really get in there and see how to go through everything. But Vicki has already dropped the links in the chat for you to be able to get connected with analytics. You would need to set up a property, and a property is a collection point for the data that you'll see in the reports. Property is usually your website. If you have a mobile app, that could be a property as well. If you have already set up Google Analytics before October 14th, 2020, we are like really on the tail of really shifting over to the new version, which is GA4. If you have it already, you've probably been getting a ton of emails. I know I have, and just really trying to make sure that we switch over. So I'm going to go to the next slide that just talks about the different versions and switching over. And I promise that I will get a little bit more into that at the analytics workshop. Janice, who ensures that all of these workshops run properly, is on it and wants to make sure you all are set up and ready to switch over. So we will have some questions and resources prepared there. So if you already have it set up, then you probably have the older version, which is Universal Analytics. It will walk you through step by step on how to shift it over, but you definitely want to make sure that you shift it over to GA4. We get questions about whether or not you are going to lose your information. There may be a small period of time where analytics might not track things because it's switching over, but I am almost positive, because Vicki and I have been going through this for the past several months, that your information will shift over whenever you upgrade or switch over to the new version. And this is showing you here how you migrate. So you would want to log into your analytics setup, and then again, you won't lose your old data, and the existing reports that you set up to collect data will still remain, and you'll be able to access both sets of reports. So you would go into your admin section, and that's the gear icon, and then you would click GA4 Setup Assistant. So that Setup Assistant is going to walk you through step by step. You would just follow the prompts to set it up. It can take anywhere from 30 minutes to get all the data to appear in your new setup. So this is giving you an example of whenever you have analytics, these are some of the reports that you can pull. These reports are super helpful to knowing what content and what is working well on your website. You can get a real-time report. So say, for instance, you do a flash sale for your business, and it's only for, say you're doing it during the next Grammys or Emmys. So you're doing it for that time period. You can pull up a real-time report to see how many people are visiting your website during this time that you have set this sale. You can also do conversion reports. So then that way you see if your website is successful. Is your website actually pulling people to it and converting into sales or a lead or a call? So you would be able to pull a report on that. You'll also be able to pull an acquisition report that tells you where they come from, and even a behavior report that's telling you what's happening on your site, the times of day that people are visiting your site, the country that most of your audience is coming from. All of that will be covered in some of these reports. And this is what GA4 looks like whenever it is pulling down these reports. So you can have like a snapshot, which kind of gives you an overall look of what is happening in your website and your analytics. Again, that real-time report is also available. there's also this life cycle set in GA4 and user. These both are like predefined collections that will show up in your GA4 account. So what happens is under life cycle, you might see acquisition, where people are coming from, engagement, monetization, like how many interactions are actually producing money or monetizing. And then retention, how many people are coming back and returning to your website to purchase again, to set up a new consultation. And then user will allow you to get a view that really helps you focus in on who is using your site. What are the demographics about them? What type of tech are they using to access your site or your app? So analytics, again, it's absolutely free and it helps you with all of that. And then the last tool that I want to present in this section is Optimize. So Optimize is a tool that works with analytics so that you can not only pinpoint areas of improvement for your site, but you can test what kind of changes work the best, which is phenomenal. So we are going to use an example of Trade Street Jam Company and say they noticed a low number of page views for their hot sauce. And we might want to look at their goal, which is to increase the page views and then their sales of the hot sauce. So Optimize might help generate a couple ideas and might say, add a before you go shop our hot sauces link on the checkout pages. So now Optimize is helping you think, we love AI over here. So it's helping you think about what you can say to address the problem that you may be having or the goal that you want to set. So this tool has like A/B testing, multivariate testing, redirect tests that it will integrate seamlessly with your analytics and help you to optimize your site. And Vicki has already dropped the link to that. So I'm going to pause for a moment because while I was presenting, I could see that there were a lot of comments and questions in the chat. And I know my friend Vicki has been looking at those. So I just want to pause and see if there are any questions that we should answer right now, or any questions that you all have, you can drop them in the chat right now. Vicki, did you notice anything that I need to address before moving on?
No, but there was a comment about, there's a lot of questions that we're asking in the chat. So don't stress out about that. Just answer what you can answer. And it's just so that we can make sure that we're giving you the best content and tools. And if you have questions, let us know. We just want to know, like, when we're asking these questions, just to get a feel of all of the, people in the audience and if the content that is being delivered. If we need to pause, just let me know in the chat, because I can ask Soleil to like, oh, go back a slide, or I need to take a screenshot. That's what we're here for, to help y'all.
Absolutely. All right, well, keep your questions coming. If you have them, somebody said, can this Google platform be used with GoDaddy and other website platforms? Absolutely. So Google Analytics is a tool and it can be applied to any of your website, wherever it is hosted at. Wix, Shopify, GoDaddy. Some of those systems have embedded in them some data and insights and reporting, but from my expertise, nothing is more in depth than Google Analytics. Google Analytics allows you to really strategize and plan based off of the data and reports that you can pull.
And Roger, hey, thanks for letting us know that Google Optimize is running through September of 2023. So a few more months, I guess 6 more months. So thanks for that. I had not actually tested the link, but it's a good point for us to do that when we're updating. It may be replaced by something, but at this time, the team hasn't let us know.
Yes, thank you so much for drawing that to our attention, Roger. So let me go ahead and move on. Again, keep your questions coming. Let's talk about the importance of search engine optimization, making sure that your site is visible on search engine. So study from 2020 to 2021 showed that 100% increase for searches that include the words near me. So this indicates that people want what they're searching for right now. So if the products and services that they're looking for are on your website or are online, you have the capacity to really fulfill that desire and that urgency that a lot of people are functioning under. So let's talk a little bit more about the importance of search engine optimization. So on this slide here, this is something most of us are very familiar with. I mean, drop an exclamation point in the chat if you've done a Google search today. Most of us are very familiar with Google. We search almost every day. We probably do multiple searches per day. So this is what the search results looks like. You see that you have a search query, where you type in your search, and then the Google business profile typically will pop up on your right side, and then you might have text ads, and then you have what's underneath the ad, which is called the organic results. So you want to create a search-friendly site that gives your business a chance to show up in the organic results. So organic results include sites that Google's algorithm has identified as relevant and useful matches for the search query. So if you don't build up your SEO and keywords in your site, and say you have a strawberry eucalyptus healing body butter for the people who wanted to smell good at the same time. You know, if you have that as a product and you don't have the words and the keywords built into your website, that is what's visible on your page, as well as what is embedded in the back end of your page to let people know that your body butters are all natural, that it is a unique thing that your business does is to mix both fruity and healing properties into the body butters that you produce. And I'm literally making up stuff because I've never heard of strawberry eucalyptus body butter, but just giving you an idea of how important it is to have language in your website. So when Google is searching and scanning your site, it can pick up that language, where when I go and type in what is a great smelling healing body butter, then your strawberry eucalyptus body butter shall pop right up. So let's look a little bit more about the characteristics of a good search-friendly site. So one of the things is a fast load time. You want to make sure that whenever someone visits your website, whether it is from a desktop or from your mobile version, that your pictures aren't so large that it's taking forever for your website to load. Remember the statistic we shared earlier, 100% of consumers want to do that search because they want immediate results. So if your website's taking long to load, you're losing them. So you want to make sure you have a fast load time. The ways that you do that is to make sure that the pictures that you have, if you have videos on your site, make sure everything is converted into web-size photos and videos. Make sure that you have a safe and secure site that is going to load for you fast as well. The next thing that you want to ensure that you have is useful content. So you want to publish original. When you sit down and think about your brand and why you do it, and when you write down how you would describe your product and the impact that they have, that's the type of useful content and language that people want to see about your business. They want to see how your service transformed another client's business or their life. They want to hear about how your coaching has transformed someone's bank account because they followed your steps and they were able to grow. So you want to post useful content that's going to draw your audience in and make them, help them not to have to look further than your website for everything that they need. The last thing is text links. So you want to connect your content on your website to your various website pages. So for instance, if I'm on your homepage and I'm reading your brand story, and maybe you talk about something that you endured that was really tough, and you have a YouTube video that people can hear more about it, make sure that you put like, learn about my journey of entrepreneurship. Make that a link to that video that's on your page, and make the pages connect. Here's some other characteristics: page titles and descriptions. It's super important. It might not seem like it from the front end of experiencing your website. From the back end, it really is, because again, Google is searching to see what relevant content that you have to offer for potential audience. So you want to make sure that you title your pages. You know, your about page is titled about. If it's meet your team, you want to make sure you title it and add a description. You know, meet the team that makes the magic happen in our factory. You know, and be creative and be very clear and concise so it reflects your business. We're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail, but information architecture is super important. So a lot of people skip this step. I know in my experience as a designer, most people don't even have an idea of what their website structure should look like. A lot of us just generalize it and say, oh, I want a home, about, a shop, and a contact page, which are definitely staple pieces, and you want to have that. But you want to build an organized site. Like, if you have a team, do you want to acknowledge your team? If you have media and you have been covered in various news articles, featured by different celebrities, like, you want to have a page that supports that and showcases that. If you have a lot of testimonials, you want to make sure that you put that on your page. All of those pages, all of that information that helps to allow the audience to really get to know your product and want to convert and become a loyal customer is what's needed to build it out. So information architecture will help you do that. Another thing is that you want to make sure that you design a website that is compatible with all browsers and devices. So a lot of times we might build our website, and most of us might use Google Chrome, but like, not everybody uses Google Chrome. Do you know what your website looks like on Firefox? Do you know what it looks like on Safari? And you should check to make sure that everything visually still looks good, no matter what browser it's on. Same thing when it comes to devices. That's a huge one, because many of us, I know me for certain, if I'm looking for a company and their website pops up and I am unable to, like, I have to turn my phone all around like that to get it, I'm gone. I'm off to the next person, because why isn't your website easy for me to read from a mobile version? So you want to make sure that you test how people can view your site, whether they're on their desktop, whether they are on their mobile phone, or even a tablet. So let's talk about Google Search Console. It is a free tool that really helps us as small business owners improve our site performance in Google search results. It used to be called Webmaster Tools. And if you had a website for a long time, that might ring a bell to you. You don't have to sign up for Search Console in order to be in the Google search results, though, and I want to make sure you know that. But if you are really looking to maximize your SEO and your visibility on web, Search Console would be great for you. As a small business owner, sometimes, you know, the technical nature of Search Console and its reports may be a little overwhelming, but you definitely can get in there and learn it. And if you have a web developer or designer, they can help you understand the reports. But I definitely think it's user-friendly enough for us to see what needs to be done for our website. I know I run it on a couple of mine, and it makes sense to me. So with Search Console, here's a couple of things that you can do. You can make sure that Google is crawling, you're scanning and searching the website, and they actually can find and access your site. Search Console is going to send you a notification if there are any problems with your site. I got a notification a couple weeks ago that there was some text on my site that wasn't picking up properly, and I was able to easily go in and change that. It'll also let you know about traffic to your site, how often it's appearing in Google search, which search queries are actually drawing people to your site, and how often searchers are clicking through for those queries to let you know how your website is showing up in Google search. You can also sign up for alerts if there's any issues on your site, and it'll help you troubleshoot to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. So you can sign up for Search Console. It's another absolutely free product. If you are ready to really ensure that your online visibility is strong, then I highly suggest it. It is similar to analytics, where you create a property that includes your entire domain name. So the very first screen is going to ask you for your domain name. So you have to have your website up and running, and then it'll walk you through the steps to verify everything. And then it'll start collecting data for you, and you'll start to be able to get emails about what's happening on your site, as well as check the platform to see if there are any reports that you want to read up on. All right, so we covered a lot about SEO when it comes to your website. If anybody has any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and I'll pause before I move into the last two segments. Can a person change or add a domain name? You might have to set up Search Console for each of your different domains. Try to remember. I think you might have to set up Search Console for your different domains, or you have to add like a property for each of your different domains. So that's how you would organize that. As far as changing a domain name, you probably would end up, I don't think I would recommend that. So say, for instance, the name of your business changed, but you've been running Search Console for the past year. Then if you edit it, then you might lose the information that was captured through that year. It might just be best to set up a new property and then do comparisons that way. What is the size, and how can you quickly check your photos for size? So there is an app called Squish. I think it's SQUOOSH, but it is a web-based, like a desktop-based tool that you can upload your pictures, and then it will size them down for web. I use that tool for my client. Yeah, the inspect tool is kind of how you would check the size for it, or if they're loaded onto your computer already, there's usually a category where you can look at file size. Anything that is definitely like high in like hundreds or so of megabytes might be long. Gigabytes, you definitely don't want to do that unless it's like a video file. But my recommendation would be to run all of your pictures on your website through the Squish app and get them sized down. I think Shopify even has a built-in tool where you can resize your photos in that too. So, and Chris dropped another link in there as well. So I would definitely check that out. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the content portion. So since the pandemic, more than a quarter of online shoppers are using their mobile devices, ranging as high as 44% for groceries alone. This also includes mobile apps. Google searches for online shopping app downloads globally grew over 300% year over year. So convenience is important. Let's talk a little bit more about what that looks like. So convenience is really looking at the ease and how convenient your business is to your audience. So your first goal is to make sure that it is easy as possible for people to use your website. And these are 6 ways that helps it to be easier for you. Having a responsive design, that is meaning that your website, when you see it on your laptop, then it looks different when you look at it on your mobile phone, and you're able to see everything clearly on your mobile phone as well as your tablet. Making sure that your payment processes are simple. If people have to click through 3 or 4 pages or pop-ups in order to make a purchase, that could, really have a negative effect on that conversion for you. Personalized recommendations, like make sure that you are tracking their data and information and how they are navigating and behaving on your site to give recommendations of most popular products or, most popular service to engage in. If you are like a storefront business and you have curbside pickup, you want to make sure that that information is readily available to a user. If you offer fast and flexible shipping or multiple delivery options, and you want to make sure that you have that showcased, as well as if you offer virtual consultations, or if your business is fully virtual and everything is on a Google Meet or a Zoom platform, you want to make sure that you offer that and you're clear about it. So the responsive design, we talked about that already. I love this slide because it shows it to you. So here it is showing you how this website looks on a laptop and then how you see it on a phone. You want to make sure that everything is fluid, that you're not losing images or they're cut off. This is something that you would probably review with your designer. If you are the designer, then most client management systems have a button somewhere at your top part where you can click on the mobile or the phone, and then it'll show you what your website will look like on the phone or on the mobile. So then you want to design it in each space to make sure that it is friendly. You also want to make payment processes simple. A difficult checkout process can really impact your business. So you want to reduce the numbers of steps. You want to show a visitor their progress as they move through the checkout, letting them know that they're almost done so you don't lose them. You want to make sure you offer guest checkout. A lot of people complain because they have to sign up or register in order to make an order. So maybe you can give them the option to register for an account for an easier flow, like after their transaction is complete. And then you also want to give people multiple payment options in digital wallets, like put Google Pay on there, Afterpay and things of that nature are other things that are very popular right now. But explore all the different payment options and methods and make sure that you're offering what makes sense for your business and what is going to attract your audience. And then this is an idea of the recommendation services. And we talked about that. You may also like this or that, or our most popular items are this or that. So recommending similar products or services might really help for a one-time buyer to see like, oh, well, there are some other things that I want to try, or there is other services and steps that I can really get into on, through this provider or through this brand. And then we already talked about these final ways. Make sure like your curbside pickup is, you're able to select that as an option if someone is checking out on your website. If you offer different shipping, put that on your shopping page or on your block where you talk about your popular products or the things that set you apart. And then offer those virtual consultations to let people know, like, you can be a client of my brand from anywhere you are. So Vicki is going to drop this link in the chat. So I hope that this is working, because I know we've been having some changes, right, with some of our mobile friendly sites. I'm pretty sure that this works though, but this helps you to get a score on your website to see if it's mobile friendly. And Google Console, Search Console will also help you to do that as well.
So I checked it I checked it when I dropped it in the chat. So yes, it is working.
Hey, yep.
This is the newest one.
Okay, good. I highly recommend doing that. Now, in all transparency, I do it and I build websites, and some of mine score really good, but most of them are like average and I don't have any problems. So just make sure that you are checking, and that, like, don't overwhelm yourself if it says that you have an average score and now you think you have to rebuild your whole site. Whatever they tell you, be intentional about your next several weeks of doing checks on your website and seeing how the site is loading and checking out different pages before, panicking and saying, oh my gosh, I got a bad score. Now I need to trash my whole website. I want you to be kind to yourself and know that these tools are meant to help us to kind of make our business better. And you can do that step by step. And you also do that by observing how other people integrate with your site. So this is what it'll tell you whenever you do your mobile friendly test. It's going to tell you if your page is usable on mobile, how it appears on your mobile site, and then it'll also give you some resources like Search Console and analytics to pull that in. And if your site is responsive, this is the inspect tool. I think someone was asking how you can see like the size of your photo. It's definitely a technical tool. All of the code that you see on there can sometimes be overwhelming, but this can help you to see the responsiveness of your page. If you right click on the page and hit inspect, you can also scroll down to a photo and see the dimensions of it as well, if it's too big or not. So I'm going to pause before my last section because I see Garba popped up and I want to make sure that I can either go on or allow him to speak for a moment.
Thank you so much, Soleil. Quick one. As usual, I just posted a 30-second survey about today's webinar. I posted it for the second time. Just give me 1 second to post it for the third time. This goes straightly to our wonderful attendees. Remember, we at Temple SPDC, we always cherish your feedbacks, even as it helps us in improving the services we provide to you guys at a low cost. So kindly take 30 seconds of your time to help us to fill out the survey link. Soleil, thank you. You can continue, please.
No problem. Okay, so this last section is about keeping your website organized. So earlier in the presentation, we talked about information architecture, which we call IA. So this page right here is just really the root of this. So what you see on this page is almost like a chart. So at the top, there's a box that says, your business name and its homepage, and then it breaks down into the different pages. So you might have another arm off of that page and it is your team. And then you might have another box that is shop, and then another one that's contact. But under the shop, you have another arm that has products. And then from the products, you break out into the different products and services that you offer. So essentially, you're creating like a chart that is showing you how your pages are organized. That is something that really helps you to ensure that you are covering everything in regards to your business and that you are putting all of the possible information out there. So Vicky asked a question in the chat. I'm going to ask it to you all. How many of you have an IA plan for your website? So 1 for yes, 2 for no, or 3 for no, but I'm going to create one. So I see a couple of 3s, and it's very, very helpful because what happens is as your business grows and expand, I find a lot of people that want to do a website redesign. So if you have your initial IA plan, then you're able to revisit that and then modify it as your business grows. It's a staple foundational piece for business owners and their websites. Here are a couple other final tips for organizing your site. So you want to make sure that you list the pages of your website. So make sure that people see, all of the pages that you have. Usually you'll see that in the bottom footer area where there will be like a menu of your pages. So that way people could see all your pages at once. If they're not taking the full journey of like experiencing your your site from the navigation menu. You also want to make sure your website has a clear call to action. Every page should have a call to action. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to learn more? Do you want them to shop this particular product? Do you want them to sign up for your email newsletter? Do you want them to, read a blog or watch a video? Whatever it is, make sure you're intentional about having a call to action for each of your pages. You also want to use visual elements that help to really make your information stand out. So if you have a business where I think someone has an equestrian business, then like you might want to feature you in action. Like people love to see that. They love to see that engagement. I think someone said they might have a festival that they host. So like put pictures of your festival and real live pictures. If you don't have like pictures that you own, then I highly recommend using stock photos. You can sign up for Adobe stock photo and get like 10 images for free, and choose images that are reflective of your business. So if you are like me and you have a service-based business and client communication is important, then use pictures that show two people engaging with a laptop in front of them, things that really call out to what it is that you do and draw people in. And you want to make sure you optimize navigation. So you don't want to have a menu that has 20 different pages. Again, that's where the IA plan comes in, and it'll really help to make sure that everything is organized and easy to read. So this here is showing you kind of what the IA plan would look like in organizing your site. You want to take it far down as possible for each of the pages like that you create. So if it's your team, then maybe the next block down from that is management team or board members. But just make sure you drill down so you make it clear. I do want to introduce Google Trends, which is a free tool that really helps you to understand the popularity of certain keywords in regards to your business. I think Vicky also is going to drop another tool called Answer the Public. So these two tools help you to learn what people are searching for and what is popular in your industry. I'm going to address a question I believe I saw in the chat about using ChatGPT to write your SEO and things like tools. AI tools like that are amazing, but you don't just want to have ChatGPT write your content and then just post your content. Your business is built off of a vision that resides inside of you, a brand that is brought to life because of your why and your purpose. So you want to make sure that whatever you might create with the AI tool really does reflect the heart and soul of your brand as well. So Google Trends really helps you research keywords and timeframes in which people are using certain words. You can find out trends. You know, it actually will recommend, say you do the body butters, it's going to tell you what states across the nation are searching for body butters. Then it's going to give you some search related terms that people are using. That can be fuel for you for your next blog that you write or the next reel or video that you do for your business. So you can really use it to amplify your business. I want to just throw in this tip about broken web pages, and they come up and it says error 404 or page not found. So that's the default page whenever your link is broken. Ideally, you don't want to have any broken links, but you can actually customize this 404 page that guides people back to your page. So you might want to go ahead and do that. So I want to know, will you use some of these tips to help make your website more reputable and functional? Type 1 for yes and 2 for no. And we already covered a lot of this, you know, the trustworthy part of adding these different payment options. You want to make sure that people feel secure on their site. So you want to make sure your website has an SSL certificate, and whatever payment method you're offering, you want to make sure that they're secure payment offerings. You want to make sure that you show your business reviews on your page. Make sure you have a testimonials page. It's everything. Make sure you're asking people to leave reviews on your business profile. show your ratings. If you have people, you have a product-based business and people are rating your product, show it so people can see how much it's loved or see the reviews for that particular product right there. And one final thing, make sure you have contact information. There's so many ways that we can engage. Most CMS systems have like a chat or messaging included. Make sure your email, your phone number is on there, forms to fill out so people can connect. So that is it for me today. I literally have went right to that 1 o'clock mark. I know Vicky has dropped some information in there for you guys, but I want to know, like, what did you learn? What stood out to you? What's going to be a game changer or something you're going to do like on your task list today? Well, not necessarily today, but you're putting it on your task list to complete based off of this workshop. We want to hear about it. And then we're going to drop some tools for you. There's a handout for this particular workshop. Unfortunately, we cannot share the actual slideshow. I did see that there was a comment from someone who is deaf that had some issues pulling down the information via the slide, and I will look into what we can do to accommodate that. We'll also drop just some other tools that and resources that you can use to further connect with Google products and continue to grow your business. You all are doing amazing. You have websites. You're here today. Just keep up the great work. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to click through these next slides just so you can see some of the tools, and then I'll hand it back over to Garba. And I want to thank Vicky because this was a very live chat today. So thank you so much for holding it down.
Real quick, we have a couple of questions in the live Q&A.
Okay.
And so Christine, I'm going to go with Christina's real quick, and then I'll drop in those resources. But Christian, I'm sorry, is asking, is it better to use your own photos or stock photos? And I always say, and I think you'll agree, it's better to use your own photos. But Soleil, I'll defer to you.
So in all honesty, I usually use a mix. So a lot of times when we're first starting out, we don't have our own photos. Most of us can't even afford to have a photo shoot at that moment to properly reflect our business. You want to try to draw down as much content as you can and get your own photos. Budget for a photo shoot this year, but you can use a mix of both. Just make sure that the stock photos that you use reflect your business. I have multiple businesses and all of them started with me using stock photos because that's what was accessible to me. So and as a designer, I use both for my clients. As their business evolves, then I'll start to put in their in-action photos on their website. But if they don't have any to start, you do not let not having photos be the reason why you don't start your business. You go ahead and find stock photos. There's so many out there that reflects your business well, and you do that with confidence, and then you update your website once you have some actual photos for yourself.
Thank you. See, I did not know that. That's good. I always try to use my own, but now I can go to stock photos. So thanks so much. Bernadette has a question as well. She says, I'm so grateful for this explanation. Aside from Google and other stats, many people follow me on feeds, RSS and others. I have my feeds set to excerpt. So they do need to visit to read, but it doesn't appear that many are doing that. How can I gather that information and optimize conversions with my feed readers?
So I think the way that you would best do that is create a page on your website where people can access your RSS feed. So now say it's your business name /RSS feed. So then you would be able to view analytics from that page to see how many people are clicking on it. And then that page would be the link that you would share on your socials and things to lead people to your RSS feed to see what is generated. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's a good question. That was a good question. I'm just kind of going through here. And then Harold is asking for the YouTube channel. So is that our Grow with Google probably? So let me find that link.
I have it right here, Vicki. I'll drop it.
Oh, okay, great. There it is. I just saw it. Just not.
Yeah. Okay. From what uh, I can see that we've actually answered virtually all the questions that came up on board during the presentation. Am I right, Vicky?
Yes, I was
Soleil,
going
am I
through
also
the,
right?
I
Uh,
believe so. I was going through the chat.
yeah. I was actually following it bit by bit, step by step, and from what I can see from my end, we've actually touched everything that came up on board. We are behind time with like 5 minutes, but just wanted all the three of us to be on the same page. If everything has been done, then I may just go ahead and wrap it up for the day. But before I do that, I just want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for keeping it a day with us. Vicky and Sony, thank you for a wonderful presentation. And of course, my wonderful attendees, you guys are great. Um, Last but not the least, of course, to my wonderful Temple SPDC colleagues, thank you for your usual cooperation. Without them, we wouldn't have been here and the webinar even wouldn't have even come into existence. Thank you guys and do enjoy the rest of your day. Remember to always stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.